on this now, joined now by Wendy Elbert. She's from the Restaurant Association of South Africa. Wendy, good afternoon to you. Thanks for coming in on the Pulse tonight. Firstly, is it possible for a restaurant to operate safely in an era of COVID-19?
So we are taking consultation from the Minister of Tourism. We're also working closely with the South African government. We are working with all the necessary experts, and we have certainly put all the necessary guidelines and steps in place to ensure that consumers can continue to frequent restaurants.
So you could go to a Wimpy or a Spur or wherever your favourite burger place is, and you should be pretty sure that the food you get there is safe.
Correct. So there's no evidence at this point in time that proves that the coronavirus is transferred through food. So we are safe to say that the food that is prepared through heat doesn't contain the coronavirus. So we've been led by experts to convey that message.
Okay, so it seems obvious to me that if you put something on a grill at 500 degrees, all right, it's going to come out safe. The problem, of course, might be in the serving of that, the sides, the salads, if people still eat those things. That's really the issue. Do we need to start looking at some kind of measure there?
So there are certain instructions that we've obviously suggested to restaurants to remove, like buffets. Buffets, serving stations and self-service stations are certainly not recommended at this point in time. They are high-risk items, but the food served to the table by the food handler is in order at this point in time. We are ensuring that there is necessary cleaning and disinfecting that's done. We are looking at stringent measures with our staff to ensure that they are fully compliant with the minimum and maximum standards of health and safety, that they take personal hygiene, that when they come into our restaurants they are tested, that they follow all precaution, that they understand and that they're educated on a constant basis of what to look out for, that they also have a social responsibility not to come to work if they have got any of the symptoms. We've also encouraged restaurant owners to be humane and also to be understanding and allow these people to go home and to be tested, and to ensure the safety of both the patron and the staff at all times are the top priority of every single restaurant.
Right. I mean, restaurants, I imagine, don't have huge cash reserves. They can't go for 2 months without getting custom in through the door. The problem, of course, is that for a lot of people, they're just not going to go out. They're not going to go to a restaurant. Even if they wanted to, they're possibly slightly spooked by the economy and the impact that this is going to have. So, I mean, a restaurant is something you often go to because you want to, not because you have to. And so the question, of course, then becomes is how worried are you about the economic impact on all of that?
I think there's a couple of elements to this. One thing the consumer always wants to do is eat out. So we need to provide establishments that are completely safe and that has covered the necessary policies and procedures to make our consumers feel safe to come into our restaurants. What we do know is that this is having a drastic effect, obviously, at this point in time. There's obviously the panic, which we need to calm down, and the panic is certainly putting our restaurants under enormous financial strain. So we need to obviously look at a financial plan here and hereafter. So we've appealed to our restaurants that are within our base to contact their landlords, to look at elements like freezing their lease terms at this point in time, doing an extension at the end of the lease. Landlords need to be mindful to play their part in this whole transaction to allow restaurants to survive. So if they can help our restaurants to manage their cash flow, we can certainly trade through difficult times. We've also appealed to them to talk to the banks, for the banks to look at freezing capex and doing an extension on loans to allow our restaurants to be able to financially survive these difficult times. Our turnovers are down substantially, but our restaurants are certainly looking at opportunities to being able to continue to serve our consumer by doing more deliveries. We're in contact with the necessary delivery services to ensure that they don't charge exorbitant prices, that the third-party people that come in are, one, trained to food safety, that the food handlers within our restaurants are competently trained, and that they are aware of the risk of transmission. We also have spoken to our restaurants at great length about safety in packaging, so that's very, very important. And we are also looking at doing drive-throughs or collections. So you can drive in your car and waiters will be runners and they'll deliver the food to your car. We've been in contact with the banks to upgrade software on the credit card machines to eliminate things like contact with the credit card machines for tap and go. So there's so many good elements that we've put in. We've got a 24-hour hotline that restaurants can WhatsApp us on to be part of the content and information that's given to us from government. They're doing great work at this point in time to guide the tourism and restaurant industry to work through these very difficult economic times.
Maybe after panic buying there'll be some panic eating.
Yes.
Wendy Elbert, thank you very much indeed from the Restaurant Association of South Africa.